to our coverage of the new and embarrassing crisis for the Catholic Church. Accusations of child abuse and cover-up against the Church go back years, of course, with some disastrous consequences. But now, for the first time, there are questions that bring the scandal to the doorstep of the Pope himself. We get the latest from NBC's Stephanie Gosk.
In St. Peter's Square tonight, Pope Benedict received a warm welcome from hundreds of young Catholics. But hours earlier, U.S. victims of priest abuse stood in the same square and accused the pontiff of mishandling the case of a pedophile priest. Reverend Lawrence Murphy molested as many as 200 young boys at St. John's School for the Deaf in Wisconsin from 1950 to 1974.
He assaulted this child here, this child here.
Arthur Brodzinski was 12 when the abuse began.
His innocence was stolen from him.
Documents being used in a civil case show that 20 years after Murphy's resignation, Archbishop of Milwaukee Rembert Weekland wrote to Pope Benedict, then Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger, hoping the Vatican would reopen the priest's case. In a letter, Weekland wrote to Ratzinger, "I am interested in a healing process from the Church to the deaf community." Cardinal Ratzinger didn't reply. With a civil case pending, Weekland wrote back to Ratzinger's deputy. True scandal in the near future seems very possible. The case was briefly reopened until Reverend Murphy wrote to Ratzinger as well, admitting his guilt and asking for mercy. "I am in poor health. I have repented of any of my past transgressions." Ratzinger ordered the case be dropped. Murphy died later that year. This is the second time in 2 weeks that Pope Benedict's name has been linked to the mishandling of sexual abuse by priests. The Vatican newspaper says it is a clear and despicable attempt to strike out at this pope at any cost. The second case took place in the 1980s when Pope Benedict was the Archbishop of Munich. A suspended pedophile priest getting counseling in his diocese was allowed to return to pastoral work. The Vatican denies that the pontiff was involved in the decision.
These documents and the German case will incriminate the Pope, quote unquote, only if people believe that the Catholic Church is a criminal conspiracy of sexual abusers. No reasonable person believes that.
Reasonable or not, the Vatican is finding itself increasingly on the defensive. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News, London.
The damage that Roman papacy has done, and I hope it explodes. They are some uncircumcised dogs. I hope that they are castrated so that they do not have any more children, so that they do not produce that species anymore. When I speak like this, I speak of that stinking pen.